Hello, it's John Heaton, and today I'm going to review the Blind Faith album from 1969. Here's the cover. Not one of my favourite covers at all. I think it's terrible. Just a bit of background. By the way, the 11-year-old who they got to pose for the cover, her parents gave permission and she was paid £40 for her troubles. So it was done legitimately, but still think it's a distasteful cover. And I think the joke was something around, if you can call it a joke. The name of the band, Blind Faith, was they thought people would buy it regardless of quality of the music just because of the lineup. I'll tell you about the lineup in a minute. And secondly, I think they probably put out what they considered as the most grotesque, offensive cover, knowing that people would still buy it. So maybe that was the thinking behind it, but I still think it sucks, and I don't defend it at all. Traffic, two great British late 60s bands had just split up, Traffic and Cream, and Blind Faith was basically the coming together of the lead, or one of the lead members of Cream, one of the three lead members, because they're all equals in one respect, and then the leader of Traffic. So Steve Wynwood, the leader of Traffic, the lead singer at least, and who wrote most of the material with Jim Capaldi, coming together with Eric Clapton, the guitarist from Cream. So this was the Cream in the Best of Cream album, which came out after they split, I think 1970. So there's Eric here. And so he joined forces with Steve Wynwood, who had split up after their second album. This is Steve here in the middle. So, and then you've got Ginger Baker was asked to join on drums here, the drummer. And even though I heard that Steve Wynwood would have preferred Jim Capaldi to be the drummer because he didn't really, not Steve Wynwood, Eric Clapton apparently would have preferred Jim Capaldi to have been the drummer because him and Ginger and Jack had quite tempestuous relations with each other. And apparently Eric had promised Jack that if they ever got together again, any of them, it would be all three of them. So he was, but then Wynwood persuaded him, we'll never find a drummer as good as this. So Ginger was in, and then Rick Gretsch was recruited from the group Family, and he joined on bass. And apparently he left Family in the middle of a US tour, which caused considerable acrimony within the group Family. So this was the gatefold, and I believe in the US the front cover is another outtake from this session. So here's the band here, Wynwood, Clapton, Rick Gretsch, and then Ginger on the right there. So you've got two pictures there. The US cover, as I say, was an outtake from the same session. Nice to Have the Words, produced by Jimmy Miller, who'd produced the Traffic albums and was producing Stones albums around this time as well. By arrangement with Robert Stickwood and Chris Blackwell. Well, Robert Stickwood represented Eric's side of things and Chris Blackwell represented Steve Wynwood's. And apparently there was a bit of a falling out already, and this group was kind of destined to fail from the beginning because the Stickwood side of things wanted a supergroup, and the Island Records, Steve Wynwood's side of things, Chris Blackwell didn't. And I think in retrospect, Eric didn't like particularly being in a supergroup because they didn't have much material to tour on. They just recorded this one album, went on tour, realised they didn't have enough material to play a whole concert, so ended up playing Traffic and Cream songs, which pleased the crowd, but was quite unsatisfactory for Eric and Steve because they probably thought, well, why have we left our respective bands just to retread the same ground? So the band split up. They did what by all accounts was a quite unsatisfactory concert in Hyde Park in the summer of '69 in front of 100,000 people. They'd under-rehearsed and they weren't particularly proud of their performance. I think it is available on a DVD. I haven't really checked it out because I heard the performance wasn't too good. Would have been good to have been there, obviously. Just before I go through the album, I want to just say that I've got 3 out of 4 members' autograph, and I can tell you they are legit because I obtained them all in person. I had my Beatles monthly with me at the Camden Jazz Cafe when I saw Ginger there, Ginger Baker, in the late 80s, early 90s. Can't remember the exact date. Well, if this magazine is 92, it must have been 92 or 93. Ginger signed it there. He passed away last year, unfortunately. Steve Wynwood has signed this for me here, and that was taken outside the BBC in Shepherd's Bush after he appeared on the Wogan show in person, and I asked him what his favourite Traffic album was, and he said John Barleycorn Must Die, and I said, oh really, okay, When the Eagle Flies is mine, and he goes, oh right, okay. So that was that, and then here's my Traffic John Barleycorn, which I got Rick Gretsch to sign here at a benefit gig for Reebok in June of '83 at the Marquee Club in London. Jim Capaldi's also signed it here, and Roscoe G on bass as well for that concert. I signed it there. So Rick Gretsch has passed away, unfortunately. So we've only got Steve and Eric left, but they are joining forces. They joined forces quite recently on this DVD, where they perform several songs from their respective solo careers, plus some of the highlights from this album. So, and this album, although it's the only one they recorded, it contains at least 3 classics, if not 4. So the opening track, Had to Cry Today, written by Wynwood, who's actually writing lyrics. He normally would have asked Jim Capaldi to have done the lyric duties, but on this album he's written 3 songs on his own. So, you know, the lyrics are not fantastic, but they're reasonable. And Had to Cry Today has an excellent guitar riff from Eric. Just checking that song was not co-written with Eric. It's got Eric all over it on the guitar, obviously. No. So Steve Wynwood wrote that. So he must have come up with that guitar riff. And it's just a memorable riff. And Eric did that in concert at Hyde Park when I saw him a couple of summers ago, the summer of the World Cup, the day, you know, that Saturday before we were to play the semi-final, I remember. So it's a great track, and it's a great performance from the group, and it's a great opener to the album. Good band performance, and this one is good to play live. And then the second song is just a gorgeous Wynwood ballad, Can't Find My Way Home, probably one of his top 5 ballads of his entire career, up there with No Face, No Name, No Number, at least as good as that in my opinion, and beautifully sung, beautiful acoustic guitar from Eric. Can't hear too much bass or drums on this particular track. And Eric would do it in concert in the 70s, but he'd normally get Yvonne Elliman to sing it. I think on occasion he might have tried to sing it as well, but obviously Steve Wynwood, of the two of them, I think it's acknowledged, has the better voice. So he was asked, Eric got him to sing the lead on all of this album. Eric doesn't really get to sing lead. He might sing some backup on occasion, but Steve singing the lead. Well All Right is a copy of the cover of the Buddy Holly song, and it's a great groovy track with Steve on the superb form on the organ, keyboards, Eric contributing that guitar at the beginning, and they did this one in Hyde Park, and I think it's a really, really good choice of cover. And then to finish side 1, we've got maybe the best track on the album, certainly one of the best 2, Presence of the Lord, written by Clapton, but he's given it to Wynwood to sing, and Clapton would perform this song live as well, and I think he tackled the lead vocal, but here Steve Wynwood is singing it really soulfully, and I just love the words. I finally found a way to live just like I never could before, and then I know I don't have much to give, but I can open any door. Everybody knows the secret, everybody knows the score. I have finally found a way to live in the colour of the Lord. I don't think Eric was particularly religious, but I love the lyric of that song. I love the sentiment, and it was a time when rock musicians were trying to get into spirituality. Unfortunately, Eric would go the other way the year after this with a pretty long period into heroin, serious heroin addiction. But at least here he's lyrically challenging himself here, and it's a timeless song. And side 2 opens with Sea of Joy from Wynwood, and it's a nice violin playing from Rick Gretsch, and this is a really decent number, if not quite as good as the material on side one. And then we finish with Ginger Baker's kind of Work Out, Do What You Like, which is outstays its welcome, and the band are really kind of trying to fill time here because they obviously realised they didn't have enough material to fill two sides, so they just jam away for about, 10, 12 minutes, and they have enough material for the album. So this is, I think one review said this album is about one song short of being an all-time classic. And I think that's about right. I think side two has been as good as side one, we'd be talking about this as an all-time classic album. As it is, it's memorable, and it's got 3 timeless classics on it, which are played to this day by both Clapton and Wynwood, sometimes together even. And I'm grateful that Blind Faith got together, even though they didn't last. So thank you for watching. See you next time.